breathing with his wisdom teeth in. The days pass, I'm working through the weekend. I've been on business since the Genesis. They profit off images, living nigga rich. Ignorant temptation, desires ain't no coincidence. The kids be suffering, rolling up as they video buffering. It's something in the food we consume and talking that government cheese. I broke the lease, I feel relief now. I got a unique style, they look at me to lead now. Guess I'ma show 'em. Conversations be going on when there's no one home. Me and God observing my flaws. Close charts, meditation, so many places that my mind can take it. I'm thinking acres, newer spaces for our best creations. Birth of a nation. Let me slow down to the flow round. Got these niggas running in circles like they train for the mile. Track runners chasing a dream while the dream chasing me. Making this money just a treat while my purpose is all I need. Anything is possible with a proper sense of belief. Match the weight with it, passion out the fire and earth with it. Air and water clean so y'all can feel what I mean. Built a dream, laid back smoking packs of premium weed. I'm gone. What up? It's your boy Dave B, watching Dave B on TV, where we go beyond the everyday bullshit that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis. You know what I'm saying? The game on a good Friday, you know what I'm saying? We just living it up. Basically, we're gonna be talking about some astrology a little bit, current events. It's really like an energy overview, like nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing specific because there is certain things I want to discuss, but it's gonna kind of be an even blend of all the things. So first thing on the list, guess we can just start with talking about. I did want to go a little deeper into this yod between the moon and Libra, right? Sextile and the energies in what's on the other side of that, Leo, right, where we got the sun, and then we got Mercury retrograding into, you know, it's in Virgo right now, but it's heading back into Leo energy. So it's eventually going to get back there, and we're going to have more of that. Well, by that time the moon going to be already in Scorpio, but for the most part understanding certain energies that we already dealing with when it comes to relating, right, creative balance like we talked about yesterday, and then also expressing ourselves and understanding the misunderstanding on the other end in that Pisces energy where we got Saturn, right? Reality and things like that. So the misunderstanding, a lot of, you know, I talked about a lot of different ways in which this misunderstanding is going to come across, but one of the big ways that I didn't mention was talking about faith. I probably said for the most part, it's our faith that has the most ability to be misunderstood at the, and we're in between this kind of decision, and that decision is whether or not it makes sense to even go for the things that we want to go for, right? And we know it is. We know that there's really no other conclusion than to just for it at the moment. But we might misunderstand either, you know, how to feel about the things we can't see, right? Which plays into faith and how much we can believe in ourselves to achieve things, or the other end of that. And again, it's operating off of whether or not delusion. So you questioning reality in and of itself as if, okay, I don't really know if it's real or not, or if I should be going for that thing, you know. And the whole answer behind is really up to, it comes down to perspective. But at the same time, we go for something, like I was saying in the live yesterday, it's like how you feel about it, the perspective you take on it, a lot of times determines on whether or not you have the willpower, encouragement, and again, these are things we have to give to ourselves. We have to validate ourselves and put ourselves in a mind state that can, you know, decide that along with our decision, we have to also feel as if it's possible to achieve certain things at the moment. And so when it comes to this kind of you know, sextile in the sky between Leo, the sun, right, and the moon, again, we can align these things to, again, start to feel more comfortable with just stepping into it, knowing that we have the confidence to achieve certain things, but we have to believe it. We just misunderstand how to go about that belief system, whether we still have incorporated false beliefs in what we're looking at, or if, you know, don't have the right perspective to have faith in something that hasn't happened yet. And again, we got to be careful with that, because you don't, you know, when you're going through life and things, you can't expect a certain outcome, you know what I'm saying? You can't look at it to you can't it to go in your favor, or and same thing on the other end. You can't expect everything to not go in your favor. You have to create balance in that area too, where you're looking at things from an even point, and it's not too much depending on, okay, if I see the signs, then I know I'm doing good. Sometimes you have to do things regardless of kind of see, but it's always going to show you in reality whether or not you're going down that path in a positive way, or if you're going about it in a negative way, just based upon, you know, different things that play out, whether or not certain things go in your favor, or you see majority of your life just completely crumbling, and like there's anything you could pick up the pieces and construct that'll keep you on game, you know. You know, not to spend too much time on that. I mean, this is really about everything, you know what I'm saying, just about life right now in general. One thing I did want to talk about is it's kind of crazy. You know, I know y'all seen that galaxy gas stuff where people are taking certain drugs that, you know, it was like, I think they're like whippets and stuff. And it's crazy how, like, you know, you look at, you know, there was that thing with Kanye West had, it was like a video circulating where he's talking about he's off the nitrous gas. And then the thing about it is you see a lot of these things being sold in gas stations and stuff. So it's kind of getting to a point now where we already know, like, as far as drugs go, the drug culture of things was already getting crazy, right? Previous years, especially in that 2020 stuff where everybody was back home, and it seemed like, and I think that's when a lot of that stuff started to get popularized in a certain way, because, you know, you had rappers like Gunna doing whippets at one point, and you know what I'm saying, that had of course inspired other people to do it. And I'm not trying to put all the blame on him as if he's the face of this new wave of doing certain drugs like that. But what I will say is interesting how, you know, accessible certain things have become. And when I look at the current state of the world and kind of where things seem to be leading to, you know, it's a lot of setting now where, based upon people being in a state of not knowing really what's going on and not being able to depend on the old systems that used to be able to help them get stability in the world, a lot of people are going to the most extreme things as far as escapism in order to kind of fulfill this void that majority of the world is feeling, based upon them not really knowing what angle they want to take in life to achieve the things they see that they want, you know. And a lot of people's desires in general have been altered to only be to only want the things of this world and only want things that look like what they favorite celebrities doing at one point. So people's idea of success and what they're striving for all over the place. And so how that plays out in your individual life, sometimes you have to have a balance. And this is kind of even where the North Node in Aries, it plays a role, because it's like you have to have your own mind about the things you want to achieve in life. When it comes to your spiritual path, that's yours. You got to define what that even means. You know what I'm saying? And especially in a world like this where there's already pre-definitions, like things that they provided you as examples of success and what it means to be even spiritual to a degree. Because now, you know, what you see is popular online is sanctioned now, because the internet is completely, we got to look and understand the internet is completely compromised as far as you know, majority of what you're gonna see, the things that get the most attention and the things that basically, it's like understanding how they operate, right? They know that things that are, for instance, you come across a video, right? You're more likely to believe the video with a person getting 1 million views and majority of the comments are positive, whether or not the information itself is actually accurate or good, or even pertains to anything in your life. You're more likely to sit there and listen because you see, oh, a lot of people agree with this, so it must be something valid to it. Or you spend all your time wondering why that's valid and that's being praised at the moment. So even it's a distraction, because you can start to become a hater on that end of, again, you might be right, oh, they're saying is some bullshit, but the way you come about it, you're going to be twisted into looking like, oh, you're just an opposer, or you're just a hater, you're crazy for thinking that this doesn't anything real. And so like that take place where, you know, they play on people's public perception, even down to going live and things like that, where you might look at a live and you be like, oh, ain't nobody, that must not be no accurate information. And right now with Jupiter and Gemini, that's kind of like, that is one of the main things they're using. When you go online and you see certain politicians and their rally, and you're seeing the videos and the comment section, based upon what they want public perception to be, that's how they're going to manipulate numbers to make it seem like something is more valid than the other thing. And that's why, even going back to what I was saying in the beginning, this is a time where we really have to put a good amount of self, you know, in I'd say spiritual work into validating ourselves when it comes to going out on different things and trying new things in this world that seems like, again, everybody is kind of fighting for the same shit because that's what they convinced you is the goal. But let's say you an individual who, you know, it's something else in the world that you want to use as a material. You construct something that becomes way more valuable than what everybody's chasing and trying to use the gold for. And so we have to have that level of innovation or creativity in our own space. And that's kind of what that North Node in Aries represents as well, which is opposite to the energy we have right now with the moon in Libra. So we feel a little opposite to that, but we know that it's something that we do got to separate from on some level. So in your own personal life, again, we have to re-examine our relationship with certain things pertaining to our spiritual path. Again, questioning certain things like, how do I really believe in my ability to achieve what I want? How much do I really believe in my ability to be successful in this area of life, you know? And that's where a lot of the spiritual warfare is at the moment. The spiritual warfare is coming in the space and sense of whether or not you even believe you can do it, you know? Because no one's gonna clap for you, no one's gonna make it easy for you, you know. And that's the thing about it's like no one's gonna make it easier for you. The only way things become, and it's not even that they become easy, but you become stronger by going out and taking the step and moving forward in the things you believe in. And we all have to be a advocate for our own testament. So that means nobody else is going to write your story, and nobody even is going to give you a recommendation on which way to go. And if they do, 9 times out of 10, you take the choices that other people suggest for you without no main thought focus for yourself. You're liable to be distracted and led on a path. And that's where the majority of the world is, being led on paths based upon what's being sanctioned to be distributed as good information, aka what you see a celebrity be praised for or what you see a politician be praised for based upon public perception and what they again, I'm not gonna keep saying what they want you to think, but it's their game. So it don't really matter what you think. They just want to control how you go about thinking that way or how you go about expressing your thoughts. And then again, that's why a person who's talking very opposite to what they got going on, you might be elevated just so you could be tore down. And that's a lot of what they do as a witchcraft. Build you up, your platform, everything, you get the praise and accolades, and then one angle that discredits your whole curriculum. And they hit that and they use their puppets and what they have as an access to basically, they don't even have to hang you on a cross. The people around you will take you to the cross to be hung. You know what I'm saying? It's ironic we talking about Good Friday, and that's that whole Jesus shit. And that's even why they put it in the Bible the way they did, to give you an example of what would happen if you decided to be a vessel like that. So that's why it's damn near, again, it gets reverse psychology into their scripture. It's blasphemous to see yourself as a creator or anything of that nature. They don't want, it's funny, people will walk around and say, what would Jesus do? But they don't want you to be like Jesus at all. Even though we know Jesus as an energy, it's talking about the solar plexus. So it's about your individuality in general. But even this is not you. It's just how you express yourself, you know? And we can go deep into that. For the sake of this, we just talking about life in general. And this is one of the ways in which, again, like they got you walking around with a little bead that says, what would Jesus do? But again, the second you try to be like Jesus, you get crucified, just like Jesus did. We got everybody walking around with the symbol that you know what I'm saying, the symbol that symbolized Jesus being persecuted. You know what I'm saying? Even though, oh, then the story rose again, that's all allegory, you know? But getting beyond that, when we talk about right now, what we're going through in life, like I said before, that North Node in Aries, we got to stand on what it is we want to see. And right now, it's such a potent energy, but you see how many distractions are on the table now. And we just getting started. They still got what? How many months? What's the election in November? They still got a few months to continue to get you wrapped up in what they want you to be aware of. And then think of it like this: the elections happen in December, no, in November, right? But that's the winter. So when we get to the winter time, energetically, season wise, in the springtime, that's a time for introducing new energy, new things, right? Getting out there, sparking new stuff, new interests. So it's a very malleable time for introducing something, right? Then in summertime, which where we at right now, that's when we lock into a certain perception. So things are still up up there on the table, but it's about, you know, expressing the best argument. In the fall time, falling. This is where people start to stress a little bit more about what they put out, whether it works or not, right? So that becomes that pressure. Okay, now we questioning everything that we represented or that we introduced in the springtime and then represented during the summertime. So we're questioning that to see the value of it. And in the wintertime is for, there's no room for really new ideas, but only space for destroying what didn't work in the fall that we noticed. So when you think about their process and how elections happen during November, you can start November as for them kicking off the death of everything that represents the old system. So right now, even the way they plan in people's face, expressing certain things, putting people on a platform, these are all things to basically get a full and get everyone involved. In the fall time, then they start to do certain debates and come out with certain stories that help, basically, like I was saying before, in the fall time, they manipulate the media to start to attack the things that don't represent the direction they want to go in. So this is where, again, a lot of scandals come out, even us going through energies like Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius, you know, leaving the kind of more gossipy energy, or it's like messy energy where it's like it's low-key toxic, maybe the way you're relating. And when I say that, I'm not saying Libras are toxic at all. I'm saying basically what they do with the media, they use the talking points, right, of being kind of airheaded and trying to play both sides, that ends up becoming a scandal in Scorpio season. So it'd be like the way someone was communicating, it's revealed in Scorpio or suspected in Scorpio that they might not have been genuine in their way of relating. They was just trying to create balance and harmony, and there might need to be a call for justice to be served. And then when we hit Sagittarius, it's the aha moment field. Oh, we got new information that shows, oh, that now it's exposed. Oh, we see what was the truth of what you was trying to hide, or, you know, based upon your rhetoric or what you was saying and the fancy words and the way it sounded, the harmony you was trying to harmonize your way to kick a lie when that wasn't what it was. And so they take that, and then by the time elections come around, boom, whatever is now, again, we get all that out the way. You're now taking, you know, say everything is taken into consideration. Now we have the transformation, and that becomes the wintertime. Now it's death to everything that represented that lie. And now we are setting the stage basically for new truth. And that becomes springtime again. And that's talking about it on a world stage, but on your individual level, that's how we go through different processes and forms in our everyday life. Shout out to Famous Malo. Shout out to you, man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this is just game. And again, like I'm talking about the world right now, the world that they created. But, you know, you have to, it's on your world too. You have to give your world energy so that you can live a good life. You know what I'm saying? We not here to just to suffer. I don't know why people think that. Maybe on some level, it feels like that because of the things, the loops we got to go through. But again, remember, all that has been constructed, you know, and you can still, and that's why on some levels, you just got to play the game, but you find your individual way to play that game. You know what I'm saying? You know, life is like one big RPG. It's like, it's you playing that character, but you got to figure out how you want to play it. You know what I'm saying? And when you take the time to figure out your natural energies, your natures, and where you fall victim to, but then you also see where you could take power again. Because I seen somebody talk about creativity, and I like how not a lot of people consider this when we talk about creativity in general, right? As an ability, as a quality or something like that. Creativity has nothing to do with just being a musician or artist or anything like that. It's a way of you know, not only communicating what's inside you to others, but it's also a way of just living life. Creativity is your ability to utilize what we all have access to in a way that works for you. You know what I'm saying? Basically, how can you convert all these materials? And materials, I'm not talking about physical, even though that can be physical, right? Because that's what we see with artists. They use physical material to craft something, right? But when we talk esoteric, spiritual, these become things like thoughts and feelings. How can you, everybody shares similar thoughts. That's why, again, you can make a tweet and a bunch of people will agree, oh yeah, I thought like that before, or I felt like that before. But it's not about trying to play copycat or trying to, manipulate. That's how people get deep into manipulation, trying to utilize these things. But even that is a form of creativity. How can you take all these things we share and formulate them, craft them into something that works for you? But when we talk esoterically, when I started with, and what I was talking about in the beginning, it's like all these thoughts and feelings that we all share in this collective consciousness, what you want to call it, collective unconscious, subconscious. How do you take these things, and how creative can you be in your way of crafting a lifestyle or a way of being? It's really about a way of being, not even a lifestyle, but a way of being. And even when we talk about things like the ninth house, I like to look at the ninth house as lifestyle. It's your morality, it's your faith. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to a ton of vision. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. So, we have to take all these things into consideration and figure out, well, getting back to that, and I don't want to go too far into a different direction, even though everything is stay on point. I'm a Pisces, but I'm self-aware, so I know where to direct it. It's not just all lostness based upon how I feel about it. But when we talk about faith in general, back to that you know what I'm saying, where the sun and the moon is making like the sun, moon, and low-key Mercury kind of going back, not yet there, but still kind of, soon these are going to be things on our mind. It's not going to have the same effect, but it's still going to be working with a misunderstanding with Saturn and Pisces. Misunderstanding too, that's the whole retrograde right now, and even how it's helping. We misunderstood how to go about reality based upon not quite. And cool thing about this energy too is because you got Aries right there on the other side, and that's creating a trine with energies like where right now and soon Mercury. So one way you can start to look at astrology in general, right? Because astrology is just a tool, we know, right? It's not a religion or anything where just because I know where the stars at, I'm automatically gonna win. I'm automatically gonna be all good in aspects. But it's just understanding influences and how things are flowing. But one way to look at it, right? Oppositions is bad. Squares is bad because squares represent a learning process. Oppositions create a need for balance or imbalance and a tug of war of power and who controls what. You might look at those as negative, even though we should understand by now, if you haven't, that it don't matter if it's, the alignment is just a relationship, but the energies themselves and is how they relate. So certain things can actually be good, like certain squares could be positive, certain oppositions can be positive. We need to be opposing at the moment, or we need to be looking at it like that. But really, all these things could be manipulated based upon perspective as a spirit. You using these things and not being a victim of these things. And, I am this, so I can only look at life this way. It's like, no, just something that just might be your more comfortable preference, but that's not the truth or end all be all of it. So you don't have to be a victim of that. You can take that and turn it into something that's positive, even if it feels negative at the moment. For instance, even being at work, I'm saying, it feels negative, but your time spent there is enough money to take care of your responsibilities and invest into your real interests and your real craft. I'm saying? So you might have to go through what doesn't feel good to better off in the long run. That's why even in a conclusion or a good way to understand life is to know that it's not about feeling good, but it's about understanding what is around you as a feeling or a thought and utilizing that to the best of your ability, get the most out of that experience. Life is something you pass through. So as it pass through, you still got to let the things that come up, right? Thoughts, feelings that don't apply to you, you got to let them pass too. And even the ones that hit you and leave more vulnerable and exposed, even those things, take those into consideration. Just think of expanding yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because what once made you feel insecure doesn't have to keep making you feel insecure. And starting to understand how your insecurity as a whole is triggered, now you can start to take more control and power over who you are and your perception of yourself and the world around you. Because a lot of times people act how they see themselves. So somebody acting like a asshole to others, it's because on some level they see their own flaw, and this might be how they talk to themselves. And so they, how they say, You know, you could tell, oh, you really just hate yourself. You kick and hate everybody, everything you see. You just hate yourself. And so, you know, it'd be a mind game or that people play with themselves, and they become their own greatest enemy in that way. And we all have the power to be our own enemy to that highest degree. Ain't nobody outside of you more of a nemesis to you and what you got going on than yourself, because everything you resonate with that go against what you set out to do, everything that demotivates a thought, feeling that you produce, because we know we catch thoughts and feelings, but once you agree with it, you start to produce very similar things that become offsprings of that. Adopt that as either your child or something you trying to put in. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it becomes something that leads you again on a path against what you say, what you wake up and you really want to do. You know, people who really want to do something seem to put themselves in a real enough space to go out for it, because it requires a certain level of being real and being naked. You know, shout out to Donovan. He said ego-driven genies worshiping another man's spiritual idea. That's when you got to keep esoteric hand sanitizer and remember the vibes are about where you are at, and go matrix or go home. Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? That's you taking it for yourself versus you allowing somebody else to tell you, or just basically, you know, because it comes down to like how you talk to yourself too. That's so important. But how you talk to yourself, think about it like this: if someone gave you the voice, see the difference is, right, whether or not when you talk to yourself it's coming from you or is it coming from someone else's voice. So you got someone else's worldview all in your mind. What you start to speak on is not really coming from you. It's coming from how others thought and taught you to think. And that's why a lot can't forgive their parents, because growing up, your parents had certain ideas that they gave to you as truth and foundation. You go out and test it out in the world, and because it's not your idea, you don't reap the same benefits or results that they reap. So you question your own confidence. You like, wait a minute, am I right? Am I wrong? Am I doing something wrong? People go with this energy and they take this energy into adulthood, where by the time you're an adult, you're supposed to be making decisions for yourself. And again, like even your parents, they by default have to lessen their ability to control and do what you, because they can't be with you all the time. When you a kid, you got to be with your parents all the time. By the time you 16, 17, 18, get your driver's license, you are now on a place. They don't got the energy to keep up with you, because you a whole individual yourself. By the time you in your 20s and damn near 30s, then it's like, damn, okay, you supposed to be coming up with your own ideas. But see, a lot of times even parenting don't teach children how to come up with their own ideas, or don't give them enough space to. If you smother your child with all your thoughts and feelings, your worries and anxieties and what you think is possible, your child kind of misses out on their ability to kind of not have no example and come up with something. And I'm not saying leave your kid with no examples. You be the example, but at the same time, give them space to come to their conclusions. Don't punish them for having their own mind. You know, a lot of kids, especially millennials or even before that, like, you know, I think Gen Z, a lot of things with them is tough as far as the world, but a lot of, by the time, you know, their parents likely gave them a little more space to kind of, you know, because that's when, you know, nowadays things like gentle parenting and, you know, different ways of going about system entirely, you know, on some, it's like sometimes it's beneficial, sometimes it's detrimental. You know, some kids just became, you know, again, caught up, I was talking about in the beginning, where you got the Galaxy gas at the gas station, or the nitrous and stuff like that, new drugs, and it's way more accessible now, you know, online, no restrictions. So they learning and seeing things that their minds don't even know how to do. So sometimes, yeah, it on one end of the spectrum is very detrimental, but on the other end, you know, they had a little more freedom. So if they are a spirit who was around others that represented protection, and they was a strong spirit themselves to knock themselves in certain bullshit, then a lot of Gen Z individuals to have that access and that worldliness at a very early age, more things to work with, more things that they can utilize to help them get further ahead than generations did. And that's how it's supposed to flow, you know. But it's a balance thing. It's not all good, but it's not all bad, you know. And based upon the type of spirit it is, that determines on what side of the spectrum they is. And again, we all grew up, or again, those of us going through the process of growing up, you know, early on you make a lot of fucking mistakes, but that's what you're supposed to do. Some mistakes lead you to certain, you know, some mistakes are a setup. Some mistakes lead you in jail. Some mistakes become a lifelong, and that's when life gets very serious. So, you know, even though we all make mistakes and stuff like that, it's just the point of it is it's not the end of the world, but you still have to, on some level, take accountability for what you got yourself involved in and understand footprints in the sand, past life experiences, traumas that you experienced this time and before that encouraged you or led you down those paths, and again walk that path. So you can't blame that on nobody. Oh, my parents ain't tell me that whippets was bad. My parents ain't tell me I shouldn't been sniffing nitrous gas. My parents ain't told me to roll up it's like you still chose to walk that. You know, you can blame anybody outside of you, but that's you. And the faster you understand that was you, the quicker you get to self-realization, better shadow work, and now you create balance in your own life in a way that actually looks like you getting your life on track. You know what I'm saying? And that respect can be rebuilt. We lose respect the more we don't be ourselves. So no, you walking around life and you not being yourself, that's why no one respects you. But you don't have no real sense of boundary. You don't have no real sense of expression that feels authentic to state your claim and be the face of something. The second you downplay your own self and you just do what feels comfortable and you abandon your truth even when it doesn't feel right to do that, that's when you lose respect. That's the only time you really lose respect, you know. And but respect can be built, you know, but it can only be built by you being real. The less you show up for yourself, the more, you know, it's just you're not real and it's not authentic. We can't see it, we can't connect to it. I can't respect it. When people play out certain energies, they act out certain behaviors. The one you wonder why it seems like people who are assholes get further ahead and stuff like that. Why it seems like this person's mean, they not fun to be around, they not agreeable. Why do they get more attention, or why does it seem like they get more grace in the world than me? It's because they're being real. Same way, again, another person could go around being mean-spirited, but that's not their truth. They not really speaking on their truth. They just being mean because they see other people do it and think it worked for them, or they have some kind of insecurity they're trying to hide behind. Those would be the people that don't get respected but be in the same energy. So it's about understanding that, you know what I'm saying, understanding that process. But getting back to what we were saying before, right now, when it comes to you know, certain energies, or matter of fact, let's just segue into the next thing, or let's just continue the idea. So, you know, I was talking about how, you know, because previously that was just about the youth and growing up and you know, dealing with certain things like that whole process. Right now, like I was saying before, and this relates to individuality at the moment and the current spiritual warfare that's going on. See, right now, like I said, in other lives, it's saying off the grid. He said, good morning. Yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful day too. So when we talk about you know, where things are headed, right? Because right now, and even energetically, the sun being in Leo, is heading into 17 degrees. Now, when we hit 17th, 18th, and 19th degree, oh, you the weirdo from last time. That's crazy. But when we come into the energies of 16 degrees Leo, which is where the sun is at right now, 17, 18, 19, this is when we start to hit the outer planet influences of the day. You know what I'm saying? The outer influences of Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus energies, right? Now, the first energy hit is is Pluto. So with Pluto, transformation. So right now, with the way we have set the stage and what we're expressing, we're gearing up to do a transformation. With how, you know, and that transformation is going to go two ways. This is where a lot of those decisions made to fully stand into that character, or this is people are going to decide to back down and maybe recalibrate how they're going about that expression. And that's determined even how we see with Libra. Like I was speaking in the live today with Libra, it's like, okay, you know, again, a lot of good conversation, want to be relatable, right? But are you being relatable because that's truly you? Are you still upholding those boundaries? Are you still being yourself? or you just being relatable because you want to harmonize and you're scared to maybe go against the grain because your spiritual path still looks opposite to you. Your mistakes still look opposite to you, so you feel more comfortable doing what you think is going to be comfortable and safe. You feel more comfortable doing what you think is safe and having others around you that validate that, right? So that's you trying to escape the real work and on your own, and being a face and representing and embodying what you want to develop or manifest in your life is real. Or again, you like, oh, okay, no, this is what I get praised for the most, so I'm gonna do that because I need that validation to feel comfortable enough, and then I'll get to my spiritual path later. And that's not really how it's gonna work, because we know everything is progression, right? When you plant a seed, if you just mess up the process of that seed sprouting, your fruit gonna be messed up. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna get it right later, I'm gonna rush the process and then get it right later. No, you got to get it right from the moment you put the seed in the ground, versus, oh, I'm not gonna water it this day, I'm gonna just water it when it feels like it's ready to get watered. If you don't water and take care of that seed at that infant stage, the result is going to be exactly what you get. You know what I'm saying? It's not so you got to consider that parts of your life too. I mean, we always got time to go back and fix things, but again, the root of things, we want to make sure we do the root, we come correct at the root of it, so that the whole process don't be fucked up in the way we go about it. It's like, that's how God give grace, or just the universe gives grace, in the sense of, yeah, there's always time to express new things and add on and fix, but we know that when things start off, the starting point is wrong, the whole thing is wrong. The whole thing is liable to miss the point. We can salvage what we can from what's messed up, but we know we missed the point in the beginning. When things fall apart, it's because the starting point secured in the first place. So going back to the current times and energies we in, anything we're doing at the moment, again, we already setting the stage for, right? Us going into this plutonic influence at the beginning of this 3-day process into the next deacon, right? So the 3-day process into the Leo sun, or the sun, or the energies we in, having influences of what is it, Sagittarius, and then Leo, and of Aries, right? That's what the 3rd deacon of Leo is Aries. So before we get to that space, we're going through that transformation right now to decide, okay, if I'm going to step each, I have to understand that I'm gonna have to stand in that as an individual. So like that kind of goes into what I was saying just now about being able to have the confidence to stand out on your own. That's the decision everybody is. Even when we talk about things like Lionsgate, everybody creates all kinds of spookism around it, but all it really is, it kind of just an energy that represents that energy we already in, or the decision to fully step into that character, or to back down and say, no, I actually don't want to represent that character like that no more. I need to hit the drawing board and maybe retract myself from the stage, take myself backstage, and get my shit together before I go on to the next. I might just have missed my time. It's like how they say, like, if this is your 15 seconds of fame and you're not ready for it, then you're just not ready for it. You're gonna fumble that opportunity. So they say, stay ready so you never have to get ready, or be ready so you never have to worry about, oh, I gotta set up, and that kind of goes into even ideas like, fake it till you make it. It's like, if you're gonna fake it, right, you got to really make sure you got something behind all that faking. If you faking it, make it, and you make it, but you ain't got nothing to support, no real substance behind what you was faking, then you lose it as fast as you got it. What you got, it was built on a lie. But if you can, that's why I wouldn't say fake it till you make it. I would say embody it. So embody you, saying, because you can only embody, once you embody something, again, it's in you, not on you. So anytime it's tested, or if it's threatened, you don't have to walk around anxiety with anxious, desperate energy trying to do anything that works. If you embodied it, even if I were to lose it, right, I could build it right back. And I know that even if it's not happening for me fast, I know that that's because it's here to stay when it does come, or for a longer period of time. When things come fast and things come easy, it's here in the day, gone tomorrow. When things take a little more time, patience, you put more energy into it, it can stand the test of time. It has more, it's a better quality. It's more sturdy. It's more, so you know, that, and it's sustainable in and of itself too. So we have to consider that into this time period right now, going into the next moon phase. And remember, we still in the waxing phase, so this is still about putting in the right thoughts so that you can have a satisfied full moon. The full moon going to take place in Aquarius, so that's going to be your system in general and your way of associating with it. So how you with things is going to matter. You know what I'm saying? How you associate with things is going to be determined on the character that you are, and your ability to, and how you go about. It's like, think about this, like, associate is determined by who you are. You know what I'm saying? If you know space and you know where you fit in the system, how you associate is going to respond to that. So in a well-oiled machine, everybody understands their position, they have a sense of self, and they have a reference to who around them, a relational reference. They know, oh, okay, on a conveyor belt, I'm responsible for this because this is my role, this is my position. So if I do this correctly, I can pass it on to the next individual that I'm associated without having to worry, because this is how the system works. And if everyone on the conveyor belt does their job correctly, we should have a perfect product, right? Or a good enough product to go on shelves and be sold. You too worried, because the second you not playing your role, the second you fuck up everybody else down the line. And same thing that happens with you too. If someone gives you something that's fucked up, you got to do the best you can. But you know, this is how it all breaks down later on in the system, where you get a bad result at the end. So you kind of, but see, you can't really worry too much about that, because you got your role to do. Now, the better they do, the easier yours is. But again, if you powerful enough, you could take whatever they get and turn it into something that you can say, hey, at least I did my job. I did the best I could. If I could work with it. If not, hey, it is what it is. But you know, that's just kind of talking about, I'm giving a allegory, or going in on that process of the moon being in Aquarius, and why right now with this Leo energy, what we're doing is really crafting or coming up with this individual way of expressing ourselves that represents the role we play in the whole system. And the full moon being in Aquarius is going to be us needing to be satisfied with how we associate with it. But you're not going to be satisfied if you're not confident in yourself, in your contribution to the whole system, right? You're not even going to know how to associate, because you supposed to do. So if you was on that conveyor belt and you don't know what you supposed to do, you're going to be looked at, ridiculed, and excluded, ghosted on from the whole system. Nobody going to really trust you within a organization, because you don't even see that. It's like, damn, this person ain't even got the skills to, or the creativity, like I was saying, to come up with something that represents the energy we need from their unique perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, you can go on a job interview and you don't have necessarily, let's say you go on a job interview and you're not qualified for all the things to do that job to the highest efficiency, but you show signs and have examples of you being able to do something that relates to that energy. So it's like, you might not know the exact way that company does it, but you've proved in other areas of life or something on your resume or in the interview that you have to make do of something or create something that still can work and be beneficial to the company as a whole. So they'll take a chance on you faster than somebody who might have all the credentials, but they don't show no signs of creativity or ability to kind of, you know, formulate something, even if they didn't have a pre-made example, or even if they didn't have all the hands behind them encouraging. It's like, do you have the ability to, it's like you can still get that same job position if you just have the a way of understanding your placement in it and coming up with your creative solution. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this person had a creative solution, rather than the person who might be doing things by the book, but what we add to it isn't anything extraordinary. What they add to the mix ain't anything that, hey, if we didn't have a script for you, you wouldn't be able to improv your own lines. You wouldn't be able to, with something that still added to the story. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people praise that because with the little bit of something, because anybody can teach a system, right? A job understands this. Anybody can teach a system, but the individual doing that system, or doing that, you know, operating that system, if they got something extra they can bring to the table, that's way more valuable than somebody who just does the bare minimum and just gets the job done. So they'll take a chance on you and just say, hey, we'll give you the job, we'll teach you how to do it. versus somebody who might know how to do everything by the book, but they don't got that creativity. They don't got that way of going about it that's unique and shows that they have like that you know, that spirit, that energy. But getting back to what I was saying, so the full moon, like I said before, it's going to be the satisfaction of how you associate and the working that you're doing, your communication at the moment with different things. It's either going to be satisfied there, or it's going to be unsatisfied and make you, encourage you to ghost everything and completely separate from all associations in that form, right? So, and sometimes again, just because that's the two ways it plays out doesn't mean anyone is negative or positive, because you might be in a situation where it is positive because you realize, hey, I am a star and I'm not surrounded other people who see themselves as stars. So being associated with them really makes me less of, it hurts my ability to shine. So that's another aspect of it. So separating could be good, you know what I'm saying? Or it could be negative based on the seeds that you plant. Because if you plant seed and see the seeds that you planting are all coming from areas of setting that stage, and whether or not what you presenting on that stage is truly you. Or if, because even in this the experience of feeling like, okay, this character I've been trying to portray, I'm seeing where it just don't line up, actually want to manifest for myself, right? So even on that level, it's like, okay, stepping away from the stage could be you just recalibrating how you going about your shit. So that could be more beneficial. Why the hell she walked so close? It's a big ass parking lot. She gonna, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna but same way, you just saying, it's like you might just understand that right now is not your time. Right now it's like, oh, okay, I might be ready, but I still need to readjust how I'm going about my presence, my stage presence, or what I'm trying to express, my character, my qualities, my charisma, boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? So that could be taking accountability and responsibility over that. But the thing right now is, right, creating a valuable stage, you know what I'm saying? Uranus and Taurus, individuals, you know, and we're learning that, you know, because it's a square with the sun right now. So we have the ability to do some very deep self-crafting right now, where we're going deep into our arsenal. We seeing our creative abilities, and we can kind of better set the stage for that. You know what I'm saying? It's like a powerful time. But that's the funny thing, because all you gonna see is everything to get your mind off of that. Hey, pay attention to the elections. Hey, pay attention to this. This might be threatened. This might be threatened. Hey, use these drugs that have much access to them. You know what I'm saying? The setup. It's a lot of setup energy. And if you're not, because think about, even, I like this analogy, right? I just thought about this, like a famous musician, right? Like, I don't know if it's too deep in the bag to rep a film like The Five Heartbeats or some shit like that, because not everybody probably watched that. But for the most part, like a lot of these celebrity stories, the common thing is, you know, this individual came up from nothing, had such talent to a position, and then they got hooked on drugs, and then everything crumbled around them. It's the most common trope we see in celebrity biopics, celebrity lifestyles, right? Think about it like that. This is that time right now where you was working with what you had. You probably still ain't got nothing. But this is that point where in the story, you really seeing like, damn, I am talented. I know I got this talent. I don't know how this work for me, but I know I got this talent. This is that time where we supposed to be doing everything in our power to expand on that. And because one of the benefits for especially this Airtron, all the information is out that we can utilize to start to make some sense out of what we do. You know what I'm saying? That's even that Virgo Mercury retrograde energy. It's like we have it's so much, everything, how we talk about the internet, everything is accessible right now. We got it all. It's out there. The information, how to do it, even the audience and the ability to read, the ability to, so it's like that real question, what's stopping you? And are you really ready or not? You know what I'm saying? Just keep eternal journey to right. Because this is that point where it's like, okay, you know, what you finna do? Are you ready for real? And is this what you really want? Is this the direction you're really going? And if you're really serious about that, right? And that's even from that opposition, that Yod with Pisces. Are you really sure about that? Do you believe that? Do you really, you know what I'm saying? Do you believe that? Or are you delusional? And when you ask yourself, like, do I believe in this? Do I believe this? Or am I? Because delusional is actions and energies that look like, yeah, I will be a famous musician, but you don't never make no songs, and you don't ever put yourself in position to make that happen, aka get on stage, do this performance, drop this song, go through the ridicule, do this creative process, don't do nothing that make it look like you really want that, so you don't believe it's possible. See, when you set out, you got a dream or a vision, and you don't believe it's possible, that's when you're really delusional, because you're claiming to want something that you don't desire to put in the work behind to get. Delusion. Because I really believe that. When you really believe something, it's a no-brainer to do the things that look like actual realistic work, routines, and patterns you from point A to point B. That's the difference between two people got dreams, but one person's delusional and one person turns out to be creative. Because when you in that process of making it work, you gonna come up with any and everything to do until you find your thing. And once you find your thing, boom, you take off. And finding your thing, the process of it is you exercising your talent, crafting your character. You can see when people reach a certain place and they haven't crafted their character, they haven't gone through the whole process. That's why, you know, like I said before, the biggest witchcraft that the world does to build you up, to break you down. It's crazy. Like, when you really look at a lot of celebrities, right? A lot of people who caught a hot number, you know, they dropped a hit, right? That got put in all these, like, you see it all the time. Like, a rapper, unknown, might have been making for a long time or not, right? But they get a hit, they get a song, and they get it in the right people's hands. It becomes sanctioned. It becomes something that the world, that they're like, okay, yeah, we can put this on the world stage, right? So they elevate that. It's such a setup. Like, I heard somebody in the interview say, second you get a #1 single or a hit is the minute your career is now on a chopping block, because they elevate you to a place that they know, or they don't really know, but they elevate you to a space that if you're not prepared to operate and through that on that high of a stage, when that single is done, can't come up with another hit in a certain time frame, you're old news. You're put in the back burner, right? I think a good example of this is like DaBaby, who had a hit and he took off, but then the criticism became, oh, he just sounded the same on every song. So he was hot for a summer, but where is he? And it's like, he might still be able to do a couple shows and stuff, but I think, I don't know if it was a few instances where certain artists had to cancel shit he was coming out. And I think he ended up in a situation, altercation or something like that. But it's like, that's that build you up and break down. And see, they're able to wash their hands because they look at it like, well, we didn't know you would sustain that. We didn't know you wasn't gonna be able to keep up that character, right? But that's how they trap individuals in certain circumstances. Exactly. You might really love making music. You make a hit and they elevate you to a certain position. If you don't make the right moves and come up with something just as equally hot, you already on. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you got too hot too fast type energy. It was like, oh, that shit took off. Yeah, it took off. But if you ain't really prepared for that, then that becomes even a conversation how they talk about, like, nowadays, you know, artists there's not really any real artist development. And even beyond artist development, because I know I'm starting to kind of talk more so niche into people who are, you know, into the creative arts. But, you know, even beyond artist development comes into spiritual development. Like, where are you? And how clear are you with what you trying to do as a purpose, a mission, or just an individual, like, I want a goal. And a lot of individuals don't even know their own goals, so they get into situations where it's like, damn, you got everybody in your ear and the pressure of the world to make that look like what they elevated and praised, but you don't know yourself. So you don't even know what you are on the journey to craft and create that's individual for you. And so that's where we have to get out of the world's mind and what they put in your face is valuable, and get into your own shit and say, oh, well, no matter what happens, whether I get that hit or not, if I have something real behind it to support that, I'm going to be straight regardless. I'm going to be able to put together something that looked like that the people who resonate with me can support and love. You know what I'm saying? The second an artist gets to a certain point and they abandon their true self for the sake of what's going to make the sales and what's going to be hot, this is where they end up becoming treated like garbage. Where an artist out of the world, the second they abandon their true self and they do what's good for the label or the product or the profit or anything like that, the fans instantly turn on them because it's like they can no longer connect to what made them want to be connected to that artist in the first place. Anybody on a platform, as well, content creators, anybody. The second you lose yourself into what's profitable because you're trying to chase and maintain some kind of position that's not true to you, that's why you'll get people in the haters and trolls. Trolls are normal. But what you're going to start to see in the comments is start to realize it's a difference between trolls and people reacting to what you doing behind closed doors that they low-key justified for. Oh, it gets dicey because the way people even interact with celebrities is weird. Or, you know, it's you know, I don't know, people, I don't know, that's a whole different story. But what you're going to start to see is that people's reaction to the new things you do and what you trying to get going for yourself aren't in alignment. You know what I'm saying? He said the even fucks, how's that the same bot on Days chat and Uno's? There's some intentional trolling. Right. You know, something fishy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, shout out to the Hanged Empress, you know, in here. You know, it's something fishy going on, you know what I'm saying? And that's a big thing too. We have to be able to spot, like right now, and okay, that's a little segue too, because this is just good game on a Good Friday. So we talking about any and everything, and talking about the trolling epidemic and stuff like that. People behind images. You know, I seen some bullshit on Instagram. Do you want to create an AI character for yourself? And so the AI character for yourself is like, basically you see Instagram trying to, and they'll say, oh, this is an experiment, something we trying to test out. Basically, it can create an AI character to send out DMs and converse with certain people on your Instagram without you having to be present. It said it's your posts and comes up with a way to try to create your voice so you can talk to your community and the people in your platform through the AI. Now, to some people, that's convenient. I don't have to answer every DM. I could just create an AI on my Instagram and it'll send out messages for me. But you understand, like, that's some crazy shit. That's some next level setup stuff for confusion and lack of trust and integrity between the individual on the platform that might be looking like they have a lot of influence and the individual on the other end who, because a lot of times I even understand, like, when we look at things like celebrity or influencer culture, everybody being a content creator, right? A lot of times, see, within this community, it's interesting because it's different because we have content creators that are supported and watched by other content creators. So there's a common level of, like, there's an equilibrium in exchange, right? Because it's like, oh, I fuck with your content, you fuck with my content, we connected. Hey, shout out to Joe in the building, shout out to Solar Systems, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, check him out. But what you have is like, okay, as a content creator, like when you in this community, for example, right? It's like, oh, you a content creator, I'm a content creator. We create things. There's a different level of connection, right? Because it's like, you know, when it's all said and done, if, you know, I'm gonna go out and do and represent my space that shows, okay, you know, my piece of intelligence in the world, something that others can support, examples of change in the world, show them up as being authentic, right? Because as content creators, we can kind of see that, like, okay, I see what you're doing, our community becomes different. But see, within that same community, or what you see commonly in influencer and celebrity culture, is you get, and how they structured it, right? You get one celebrity who becomes somewhat of an oversoul, and you got a bunch of fans that, because this is how it kind of was structured in the beginning, right? In the early stages of celebrity culture, right? One person will represent the minds of a large fan base. So this one artist or celebrity would have a bunch of fans that they could only, it's almost like that celebrity on that world stage has the ability, right, from the public perception to express themselves and be agreed with. Same thing, damn near same thing as a politician. So the voice of the fans become the voice of that artist. So he's that artist because, oh, they speak for me. When they perform or they music, that's exactly what I want to say. And they say it better. So that becomes that loyal fan that becomes, and then again, so let's flip it on a politician end. That politician is the voice of this group of people. So we can put all of our energy into them and they can communicate to the higher powers to make me feel like I have a purpose or a change in the world. That's you, politics. They say, you know, you need to vote for your local mayor so that they can the voice for you to go to the higher ups and stuff like that. So they teach you this ladder system that is just completely crazy. Right? So they lead you on a path where you don't believe you have charisma. You don't believe you're a star. So you don't ever push your creativity to the limit to expand in the ways you're supposed to expand. We all supposed to be in our own individual life, no matter how big or small. It's not about all of us being in your actual life. It's your life. You're supposed to be the most important individual. I mean, like, not on some narcissist shit, but you're supposed to see yourself as what you desire and what you want to achieve in life is just as important as what we might see an influencer do or something like that. So, and I mean that on a small, minute level, aka your ability to have a good relationship with your neighbor or raise your kids and just be in your family and the few people you might not be speaking to the whole world, going live and interacting with all these different people, but you're supposed to be important in your own life. So when you touch the individuals in your life, they supposed to fuck with you, you fuck with them. We all do important things. We all encourage each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, you supposed to be helpful in those ways. But instead, they got a lot of people who give all their energy to a celebrity to do the important things in the world. But what we see is them do things that don't make no sense, that don't help nobody. Go out and buy a grill, a $1 trillion grill, a $1 trillion chain and all this, you know what I'm saying? Or a politician, you know what I'm saying? You got all them doing goofy dances in the office and shit like that. And it's like, yo, people really out here starving and stuff. And not everybody here to change the world in that way, but you can change the world from your own seat. You know what I'm saying? So you see how like they led people to believe this. So getting back to what I was saying about within communities, what you gonna see, again, same thing with influencers and content creators. You get a bunch of people who want to speak through them. So they put weird pressures on them to represent voices and things like that they not necessarily responsible. But the problem is people lose their own power. They sacrifice that and they become almost, again, they kind of abuse they spot. They abuse they real, because like how they say the power is in the people. So we can't it's like, you know what I'm saying, they'll end up tearing down the person that they once praised in a way that is like, why would, like, it's fucked up to a degree. Hold on, let me catch up on the comments. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Blazing. He said, why on earth is everything designed to take away your social skills and character aura? Right. Why the fuck would I be on Instagram creating an AI to chat with my community when that, and see, this is the type of shit that like people don't realize. This is how they're trying, this is how they regain control or replicate. It's the same thing with streaming, where, oh, Netflix came out to do it. Oh, it made Netflix so important because it was like, oh, I don't have to get direct TV. I just go to Netflix, watch my shit. 5-10 years later, now you basically, they finna come out with a group streaming platform to do the same thing DirecTV did, that you was trying to run from on a streaming service. So you go, instead of having 1 million subscriptions, you're gonna have one box. You know what I'm saying? They in the room like, hey guys, I got this idea for this one box that got multiple channels and streaming services on it, and you can go in and select what you want, but it's all connected, so we don't have to pay 10,000 subscriptions. We can pay one. Like the same thing DirecTV was. This is how they trick you into certain things that you was trying to get in the first place with the solution. Same thing with the AI chatbot in Instagram. The whole point of being on these social media platforms And being an influencer or a content creator was so you can speak your mind and connect to your audience in a more authentic way. What do we complain about celebrities? Oh, that celebrity ain't really emailing you back. That's just a management team. If you got an AI Instagram character talking to you and talking to your people, you doing the same thing you blame celebrities for doing. You're not talking to your community. You're not really connected to your people. You got some kind of imaginary management team reciting your ideas, reciting what you believe in and shit like that. So it's like it's that's the loop. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing that be the problem. You know, I'm stuttering and shit like that because a million things on my mind. But right, he said be a star, not a stat. Right, he said people forget sometimes. Fan is short for fantastic. Right, or fanatic. I said fantastic. But you know, it's the difference between fantastic and fanatic, though, because you know, if you to be fantastic, you have to fulfill that extra mile. Like that's why, again, in this community that we got going on right now, right? This is the difference between it. It's things like each one teach one, and even what we try to do with the 717 conference and stuff. It's coming together, but it's in the fact that you a star, I'm a star, and we all take accountability and do art or what we came here to do, our purpose for the world, and as real people to connect and build amongst one another to actually create change. Now we in a world where, again, it's more so about that individuality being acknowledged and spirit, you know, because when we spirituality, the detriment to a spirit is, again, you don't have no real spiritual system if you clinging to a bunch of others or worldview or how they seeing it. Your spirituality, you came from a space that was completely different. You can agree, but you still have a ability to add on. And see, I get it too. Everybody in different positions, everybody got different talents and different things. So it's like not everybody sometimes is to cheer on those who have more of the talent or things like that. But it's still a way to contribute without getting lost in praising, getting lost in, you know, saying lost in, you know, you lose your own sense of self in the, y'all get what I'm saying? It's like, it's still a way to do it where you can still be you and be honoring yourself and stuff like that. A constellation mind rather than that ladder system where you got to go through all these weird, awkward, you know, things just to be yourself. And it's like, and the problem of it is not even so much that, it's like, instead of developing your own individuality, you adopt the traits and characteristics of somebody you put on a pedestal. So you go against God in a way where now in your own individual life, everything that you kick is not really coming from you, and people kind of lose you to who you praise. They, you know what I'm saying? I'm not getting the voice of you. I'm getting the voice of the celebrity you follow and the influencer and the way they think. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to be here providing your own way of, you know, saying you're supposed to connect to us in a way that, you know what I'm saying, that changes the world for us and be authentic to you, you know. Shout out to Mac Dankin here, you know what I'm saying? Real shit, real shit. Shout out to Rod, he said facts, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Equilibrium. So, you know, I started this talking about that AI little chat thing, and it's just weird, you know, so you get like things like that going on right now, and we already been talking about how AI in general is going to make things dicey, because now there's this race between how can we make AI sound just like a real person. And we already can think of a bunch of directions that could lead and issues that could turn into. And see, with this whole social media thing, that's kind of that's why we can't operate on these sites the way we used to. We can't do what was once okay to do, like how we was once getting it on Instagram, like, you know, just, hey, I'm just posting content, I'm just doing this, I'm just doing that, here's my business. We got to come up with, now is the time where, like I was saying before, it's important for us to take what we know about ourselves and about what we're trying to do in the world around us, right, and come up with better ways to go about that. But the main source of that has to be you being yourself and you being true to you, and you knowing what that is, you knowing yourself without all the extra things added, the pressures and the trauma and stuff like that formulated you to agree with certain things you don't really agree with and be quiet in certain areas you knew you wanted to speak up on. It's like on one end, you have to tap into that. We have to take what we can to preserve that. And then we have to start to, again, set that stage for that character to exist and that character to be able to flourish. We have to set the stage for that. That's what's important right now, not get lost into the distraction. And because when you get lost into the distraction, like I said, you put your head down, before you know it, the world has completely changed. The game has completely changed. And you are now obsolete because you was trying to follow what was already not working. You know what I'm saying? You was trying to follow somebody else's regime instead of looking at what's right around you and coming up with something that's going to work for you. You know what I'm saying? You got lost in somebody else's way, someone else's worldview, and what they told you was important. So you watching the election instead of setting yourself up and supporting your community in a way that y'all can come together and I'm not going to say avoid in the sense of escapism, but y'all created something that works better as a system that doesn't require you to be dependent on somebody else's game and the rules that they switch. How we say, they let you play the game, then they switch the rules right when you start winning. But how do you work around that? How do you fix that? You do that by creating a way to where your system is self-sufficient, and whatever they do as a change just becomes a certain add-on you can add to what you was on that works the same way. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they did, they know with the ways they changed the game. I got a self-sufficient system. I just can choose when I want to participate and how. And now I have more power. Me and my group got more power because we're it's our choice whether or not we want to do y'all system. We already got one that worked. So we see, hey man, look over there, they got their system doing this little benefit thing. I think I want to participate in it. It's a choice rather than the people who are on the following end and getting led to slaughter. So when the game changes, now y'all have to take whatever is available, the crumbs, the solution that they come up with. You have to take that. You're forced to just do what the party says, to put funds there and to work at the jobs they say are allowed at that point of having a sufficient system that, hey, it don't matter what, that's the only jobs available. I don't really like that. I already got a self-sufficient system. I don't need that. That's the space we're supposed to be in. You know what I'm saying? That's the importance of community. It adds our ability to do that because it's a system. And that's all they got going on. And the reason why the world is the way it is just because you got the majority of it participant system. But we always talk about, well, what if money didn't exist? Or what if their system didn't exist? What would we? And it's like, well, there would be other systems. Theirs just got the most influence. So that makes the most sense to do on the world stage. But think about this. If you and your community have your own award show and y'all give praise and accolades to those who do well in that space, you don't have to watch the Emmys and let them tell you what's the most popular. You got a group of people that y'all can determine popular. And if it's a way to support that, and that's no different than somebody getting an award like an Emmy or a Grammy. And see, the thing is, you might be like, well, if it's a small community, how is that important? And the thing about it is, that's the difference of it. How many people are involved in it? How many people are involved in that system to make it important? You know what I'm saying? We watch things like award shows, we watch these award shows that they put on because they got that much people involved in their system. And so if they deem that something is popular, then we can all agree to it and we watch that as entertainment. But a lot of times that shit they be giving people awards that we be like, that person got an award. They music trash, or they're this, that, and the third is trash. You know what I'm saying? But we just haven't created something for ourselves to do something like that has that many people involved that make it more valid. And see, that's the thing. They just use views and stuff like that to make something seem more valid. But we know in our own life, what really has quality is rarely recognized on that level or on that stage. You know what I'm saying? What really has quality in the world has nothing to do with what's on the radio. The good songs is really barely making it to the radio. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. He said, talk shit on the Lionsgate. Man, that ain't shit. Exactly. I talked shit on it the other day. I was like, there's nothing special about it. You know what I'm saying? This shit just, cool, like people get lost in numbers and stuff. They don't even know what 8 means as an energy. They just, oh, it's an 888 and shit like that. So they they be on some stupid Lionsgate. But like I was saying before, it's a decision that you got to wake up every day and make a decision to be you and shit like that. I was like, oh, if you did want to give it a definition, you could look at it as just that decision point in Leo season where you got to determine, hey, this is who I am. This is the stage I want to set, and there's no turning back. That's it. But a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? And again, during all this 8 energy, transformation, year 8, day 8, you know what I'm saying? Month 8, I don't know. Look, it's just an 8. And 8 is just time, transformation. Knowing that it takes time and investing time is in too. So this is the time we have to decide on that character to solidify it and invest in ourselves. You know, everything else, because people will be like, oh, this is such a good luck energy, it's sextile and this, and man, that don't mean nothing, man. That don't mean nothing. A lot of people gonna make a lot of mistakes. A lot of people gonna be bankrupt today. A lot of people gonna be tripping over themselves. It's you know, people are lost in so many different things, you know what I'm saying? So the whole idea, but that does, I'm glad you said that, because that brings me back to my beginning right now with us going into the 17th degree of Leo. You know, we're gonna be hitting that next decan, which is in Aries and Mars. So, you know, with this character, again, you gotta, about time to fight for it, and you're gonna have to actually move. He said Lionsgate, everyone talking about it, right? Yeah, right. Shout out to Mystical Maestro. Yeah, exactly. Because like that be the pop culture shit. People who don't know nothing about this stuff, but doing it because it's pop culture. So they see benefits in either clarity or making money from it. You know, by you're gonna win the lottery. You just need a reading. You need an 888 reading. You need a Lionsgate reading, or you need to watch my channel because I'm talking about Lionsgate and stuff like that. Like that's pop culture shit be funny, but you can spot it easy because it's always the astrologer that's going to give you something in the world to be excited about. You know, oh, this is great transformation because you can be a millionaire, or you can do this, you can do that. It's just leading you to praise more of the things that pop culture says is important. But you know, but we all got a decision to make again, but this is more so on an internal level, because transformation comes with the Pluto influence. It's like we have to change our ways. Great rhymes with 8, so you're gonna have a great day. Yeah, shout out Peace Dealer. Yeah, he made the best video for that shit. He had the music behind it, the fearmonger music. Shit. That shit was crazy. Right, liberate yourself from the calendar. Right, exactly. Because that's just something, yeah, man, they got everybody confused. Instead of looking at themselves, they trying to get something outside of them to give them validation and shit like that. So it's crazy right now. But we have to transform how we're going about that, and we know that already. You know, it's nothing new that really to say about this shit. We already have to keep on transforming to you know, shape ourselves into what's to that next phase of us. You know, it's who you always been, but you have to put in the work to shave off the parts that don't match, don't look like it's gonna take you nowhere. And we have to put more, and this is that misunderstanding too, what to even have faith in. Because around you that's agreeable, that makes you comfortable, looks like the right thing to do, but it's really just in that loop. Versus the things that feel like you stepping out on a limb or a ledge, but you know, get out there and put yourself out there in order to see what you're capable of. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it is 11/11. Everybody on the East Coast. So we got to be aware of that. But like an influence of, so moving into this next decan of Leo is going to be Aries. So we're going to have to fight, and we're going to have to be willing to stand as an individual and have the confidence to stand in our character and who we are and things like that. So the underlying value of things right now too is to Assault Khan. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. I hope I said your name right. So one of the things we have to keep in mind too is integrity. Integrity is kind of the underlying basis of things. Everything you do right now got to have integrity. Any type of cheating energy, like, you know, trying to sneak around certain things and all these things, because what's going to happen is that Virgo energy can make you kind of tap your fingers together like this and start plotting, because you might feel like, man, I can't get this to work. If only I could just take this, or if only I could just sneak around this. You know what I'm saying? Virgo energy, I'm not saying Virgos are sneaky like that, but the thing about it is it ends up being, you said, you gotta love it. It's Asut. Okay. Shout out to Asut. Okay, yeah. I knew it was different than how I said it. But you said, damn, you said you really thought, you said yeah, really though, integrity is so important. Right. Shout out to Dan Q Frank. Yeah, integrity, because that's the real basis of it. Because we can talk about character and what you see on the surface all we want, but that's the whole even square we talk about with Uranus and Taurus, and what Ton of Vision had brought up. You know what I'm saying? Yo, the value of that stage comes down to integrity, your character. You know, so how the strength of your character is the integrity you have. Because if you're doing things that don't actually show you know, they don't have that kind of moral structure to it, you end up getting caught in a lot. You end up getting caught up in again, exposed. And Leo energy is funny because it's so much light, nobody can maybe see it. You could talk the game, and again, Libra and even Gemini energy giving you all the good conversation, but the energy is out here. Remember, Virgo is recording everything. But getting back to what I was saying about Virgo too, Virgo could put people into a space where they're desperate. You're so anxious, you're desperate. You'll do anything because of anxiety. And if you lack integrity in that space, boom, you get caught up right there. You know what I'm saying? Dan said, coming from a Virgo, when I don't feel like the integrity is there, I go ghost, like for real. Then I feel like, why am I making these choices? And maybe it's just a conversation, but sometimes, yeah, right. And see, that's a good point. You know what I'm saying? And see, Virgos know, and see, that's the thing. That's the high octave is integrity. Low octave Virgo is a Virgo that lacks integrity, is just suffering from extreme desperation and extreme, like, you know, nervousness. You know, y'all know the lengths people will go when they are worried, stressed, and freaking out about something. It's like, it's almost like you're running constantly. You constantly like this. You got that nervous energy, that tweaker energy, where somebody come in, they just can't sit still. Now, some of us can't sit still because of other reasons, but y'all know when somebody tweaking, it's like they what they call it, paranoia. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it, if you walking around with no integrity, you doing things, you know, you backstabbing people, you gonna be paranoid. You gonna be looking over your shoulder. You gonna look at everybody's side eye as if they trying to do to you what you've been probably low key doing to them. It's that, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, sometimes when you feel like integrity ain't there, it's nothing to connect to, because it's like you don't know. And that be a lot of reasons why people will miss up on opportunities too, because it's like they you don't know, feel that way, but you just like, integrity. I wish I could put up the definition exactly, but integrity got something to do with, it's like it's not matching. The what you said and what you doing is not matching. So lack of integrity look like it's just not matching. So if it's not matching, I have no data or ability to confirm that. I have nothing to know when you lack integrity. But when you got it, when you got integrity, it proves it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't even, you know what I'm saying? It proves itself right there. You know what I'm saying? He said it's time to let go of habits that bring no substance. Right? Exactly. Thinking habits, feeling habits. And see, people who are on the fence about their ability to perform this character and their ability to do things, the people who lack confidence, is because they have a habit of, it's what they want to manifest. They have a habit of getting caught up in feelings and wasting a whole day going back and forth about whether or not they feel good or not, whether or not they come. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we got Schwetz in the building. He said the quality of being honest, having strong moral principles. Right. Exactly. Good shit. Good shit. Shout out to y'all, man. Exactly the quality of being honest, having strong moral principles and morality. Remember, we was just talking about the second deacon of Leo being Sagittarius, which is morality. And then we got Jupiter and Gemini right there, expanding on, it's like a lot of information and stuff we can get caught up in and lose sight of the truth based upon us wanting more information or trying to, again, like not taking the time to actually have conversation and expressing certain things. You said, but exactly, when you know that you're doing things from the right moral perspective, even end up being wrong, the integrity is what saves you, because it's like there's grace there. There's grace for you being wrong, but have good integrity. This person didn't mean to mislead people or deceive. They was just they was genuinely being themselves, and they fell short in the area. That's normal. If anything, you get so much grace at that point. If you really do the self-accountability, a lot of times you get way more back by being wrong but having good integrity than being right but doing things on a snakish way. You being right but you really cheating the system. You know what I'm saying? And you end up being exposed as being wrong, had no integrity. So people can't give you grace. And if they do give you grace, they a fool. And then that's why certain bad people get different opportunities that look good. Like, why does bad person get away with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, people like I don't know if that's a good example. I was gonna say people like Diddy, where Diddy was like, he been a demon. But people was like, you know, like I don't know why people was letting it slide. Diddy been a demon. And then all of a sudden it's like, you know, now everything kind of coming to the fold. And it's like, think about this. Like, if a bunch of scandals is coming out, and let's say bro had integrity about what he did, and that's justified. But if all that he did was suspicious, but it turned out that he was actually having integrity, and behind all those mistakes he made, it was like, I don't know, he's not a good example because what he did is just viable. But and I'm not really even talking about that, but the whole idea is it's about moral uprightness. So let's say it was some mysterious energy behind what he was doing, but it turned out that the morality was there. So it was like, oh, the morality, if what he was doing behind what we could see was actually moral upright, like he was actually doing good deals with people and he didn't do all the things we said, then it would be a different conversation. But, you know, I don't think that was a good example though, because he was tripping. Like, he been a demon though. He said Diddy plays entirely way too much. Hey man, he ain't even playing. That's who he really is. That's crazy. Hey, what up? Shout out to Anu. You know what I'm saying? Hope you good too, man. But yeah, he said. So, you know, but getting back on point, like when it comes to integrity in general, it's like when you doing things with the right moral space, then, you know, you got enough grace to work with, to put with, you know, to move and operate in a way where even if you are wrong, you turn out to not really have things together, who can still understand and be like, okay, boom. And some people might be willing to help you, versus lack of morals and shit. And that's the main thing with even Diddy's situation. It's just a lack of, nigga, they had no morals from the beginning. So it's nobody around to even help out, you know what I'm saying, and whatever is going on. Because it's like, bro, all the morals was gone. All the morals was wrong. But and then even when we talk about more, it's not all about you know, it's not all about, you know, even when we talk about right and wrong, not to get caught up in that. It's about how you go about it though. Your moral system, I like to look at it, you know, we can look at moral system as the ninth house and how you go about that, right? I like to look at the ninth house as lifestyle. Your morality is like your compass of what is right or wrong, which doesn't mean it's right or wrong for everybody, but it determines your lifestyle, how you go about life, and how you how you treat your experiences, basically. And the meaning and reasonings you extract from your experiences that lead to you having wisdom that can turn into advice, and you moving and operating that in a way that represents what you experience. You know what I'm saying? If y'all follow what I'm saying, not to throw too many words and terms at y'all. He said, yeah, God has allowed my grace to be my testimony. I'm blessed, right? Never be less though. You know, you do your thing. See, and that's what it comes down to it. So again, during this time, my whole point, because before I got on that tangent, was talking about how, you know, we was in the Sagittarius dealing with our morality, and that was the determining factor of character, and whether or not this character was gonna make it to this point. Because everything in Leo season, as we set in the stage, is like, are you morally, you know, with that Sagittarius influence, is like, are you actually doing things because this is what you believe? Are you doing this out of and your lack of confidence came from your inability to really believe, your inability to really say, oh no, this character upholds the same morality and the wisdom. You know, your wisdom also applies to how you express that character, because the more wisdom you got, the more experiences you went being yourself, the better you know how to express your character. You understand, oh, when I express my character like this, I get this kind of result. When I, but also understanding the meanings and reasons of why you might need to express in this way versus that way. All these is what we was kind of deciphering up until this point. Now we're getting ready. We're turning into the deacon being Aries. So that's you saying, okay, it's the confirmation of that morality, saying, no, I do have integrity in who I am. And now I can go to war with it. And it won't power on me. I can go to war with this character because I know myself and I see it. Boom. Versus you having to be alone, separating from everything because maybe that character didn't have the right idea about what was right and wrong, and maybe you didn't have the grip on who you was the way you thought you did. So you had to go through an experience that showed, wait, I still got some growing to do. I still got some learning and healing to do. And that is what it is too. But the difference is, if you plant good seeds, it's the ability to be self-aware of that process. Bad seeds is going to be a lack of self-awareness and maybe down on that character that leads you to being alone in the woods in a negative. You burnt a bunch of bridges because you got so much in your ego that became more important than your truth. Versus you plant the good seed, express yourself, and you had to go to war with it, but that character led you to being respected individual. So the people around you, you changed their perspective and they got to see you based upon you changing how they feel and see about things, because you changed up and saw things. So it's like, hey, I might look like I'm agreeable and not doing what my whole family thinks I should be doing, but I'm being true to me. Before I was doing a bunch of things upholding a character that was making everybody feel relatable and everybody else feel harmony. But now I'm out there, I'm not with y'all. I'm me. And then now you playing out this energy that's playing good seeds. So you gonna feel alone a little bit. Hey, at least I'm being me, and slowly but surely, the right people attract to you, and this becomes the full moon culmination of you now got a community that you satisfied in because you stepped out and you was yourself. Now the people who are only people who resonate with your truth and resonate with you. And again, and this doesn't mean everybody in your community gotta agree with you or how you see things, but this is like, still, you can have a good conversation with them. You add to their awareness, they add to yours. And that's really the gift that we all have to those in our life. I add awareness to you and you can add awareness to me. And if we're self-aware enough, we can do this in a constructive way, more so than a destructive way, where now we're criticizing each other, we're tearing each other down, we're at war. I gotta beat up your mind because I want this space and then all that stupid shit. Instead, I help your awareness, you help my awareness, each one teach one. We grow, you might think, I might make a mistake, but we still can be ourselves. And that is the greatest gift you can give anyone, the ability for them to be themselves, and you give them yourself. One of the greatest gifts you can give another individual. So, you know what I'm saying? Right. Teamwork makes the dream work. You need it. We're in this world to relate. Any rhetoric that reinforces separating and separating to the highest degree, I understand that certain situations are toxic and you got to get away from it. But any rhetoric that's saying, oh no, we need to segregate and blah 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 and pick this party, pick that party, it's this, you with that, all that is that's just trying to get people lost in their own biases, and they use people's biases to get them trapped in certain worldviews. And once they got you in a worldview, you subconsciously support one of their missions and goals, and you disregard your own mission, and you never have the right amount of people around you to get anything done because you too separate. Rhetoric that looks like bringing people together, always the most powerful and pure, closer to God energy. Because that's what's going to really look like something, and that's the only thing that is going to bring influence to change. It's not about what's right and wrong. Their system works and looks because more people agree with it. Teamwork made that dream work. The second, if the majority of the world disagreed with money, money would not be the thing on everybody's mind. People disagree with money, but they do everything. They rob, shoot, steal, kill they still believe in that. And again, it's heavy witchcraft on folks. And it goes deeper than just saying, I don't want to work a job. It goes deeper than saying I don't like my 9 to 5. It goes way deeper. It's a systematic issue. And that's why, again, the only thing that can change anything is you creating a system with those around you that works. And until that happens, everybody gonna have a bill to pay. Everybody gonna have rent that they can barely afford. But again, like I said, even as a community, I got enough to purchase, you know, to if y'all got enough to pay the rent, then the rent is no longer. And it's like, that's what I mean by you could play the game, but the game don't have to play you, in the sense where, you know, you could operate, but work smarter, not harder, and get with a group. Then next thing you know, boom, like y'all can create situations in a system that avoids the dependency, because that's the issue, right? It's the dependency on their system. He said, sometimes I feel like my chemical imbalance gets the best of me, but family is love, support is everything. Yeah, like when it comes to chemical imbalances, you know, what's going on in you, again, you still have the, I say it like this, right? You, based upon your thoughts and feelings, these things produce blood flow and they produce cells. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about just think positive and feel good and all of a sudden magic and problems in your life will go away. But, you know, it's about, you know, when you're self-aware, you can challenge certain thoughts and feelings that feel more comfortable and feel normal, that kind of show that they go against what you really want. So, you know, sometimes too, like it's easier said than done, because it's like, it's so much that goes into like really doing that kind of work. You know what I'm saying? That's that shadow work. And I can't even give you a blueprint or template to how to do that. That's you developing your own way of talking to God. Like that's you developing conversations with God and stuff like that. So, you know, but I feel you, like, you know, and when it comes to chemical imbalance, that's everything that they put into food. That's everything that they news channels. That's everything that they created as a situation for you to have to experience before you get to yourself. So all I could really say is try to make more space for yourself to know who you are and understand where these imbalances play out as, you know, affecting you. So that way, when things come up and you could tell, like, okay, I'm super this way, I'm super in this feeling, or super in that, you have that little time space separation within yourself, make a decision that's more in alignment with what you want. So you could take that chemical imbalance, and once you recognize, oh, I'm playing out an imbalance, okay, how can I create equilibrium so that my decision is more balanced than just going off on what feels correct because I'm in this vibe, or I'm in that vibe, like less reactive, more proactive, because I took the time to match my, you know, to balance out my own energy before I participated. I played the observer to get a good balance of what the situation actually is, who I am, and what's the desired outcome. You know, and that might sound like manipulation, but it's not really about manipulating others. It's about manipulating to direct you in the path you wish to go, taking power control over yourself and doing you, being more true to you. You know what I'm saying? It's deep. You know what I'm saying? It's deep. But, you know, back to what the energies were saying. So like I said before, that's the trick. Getting everybody kind of caught up in their story. But really right now, like going into this 17th degree of Leo, we're transforming. The next energy, the next day is going to be Uranus energies, which is change. So change is going to be the key. We got to be quick on our feet. We have to, everything that we're coming into realization today that we need to transform in order to fully embody and go to war for that character, our true self. Right, right now it's about noticing what needs to transform and letting what needs to die. So that involves certain thoughts and feelings. Then the next day is going to be about changing and putting certain changes into the routine. How can I change? How can I change that? Also, it might be manifesting changes in your life. Certain things, craft, you could do is like going a different route to work, taking a different route that you go on a walk for, or, you know, instead of, you know, brushing my teeth at the right sink, I'm gonna brush my teeth at the left sink, or, you know, doing something a little different in your routine just to kind of see a different side of life. Small little witchcraft you could do for yourself. But for the most part, it's gonna be changes that you're gonna start to have to either participate in, or you're gonna notice, or you're gonna experience extreme change that forces you into a new way of going about expressing yourself or being you. Now, the next energy too after that is going to be Neptune. That's going to be a Neptune influence day. So that'll be the 20th. That's going to be needing to reassess the dream. It's going to be a dreamy day. So this is kind of where you can use your creativity to reimagine your true self, reimagine what that stage looks like for you, real character, and what you want to put on that stage to perform and do you, right? Reimagine things going in your favor, participating in your purpose or going for your goals and things like that. When it comes to or it's going to be delusional stuff. So this could be you delusional about who you are, any ideas of, what they call it, delusions of grandeur and shit like that. Be careful of that. You're more important than the system, thinking you're more important than everybody else in the world, thinking you're more talented and more this. It's good to have good confidence, but going too far in that will lead you to do extreme things in which you basically put yourself in esoteric debt. You try to you either put too much on your plate, you try to holier than thou energy that comes back to bite you, things like that. You exaggerate your skills and your sense of self, and you get let down. So extreme depression could come in after that because you didn't hype yourself up and fell short. You got to keep yourself balanced. Have confidence, but be modest. You know what I'm saying? Don't be too much, and don't downplay yourself too. You powerful too. You can make things work that ain't work for others too, because you're an individual. But real shit. He said, I'm doing an outpatient program to get off drugs. Took the first step today. I need to balance out my chakras on myself to build fully embodied in God's light. Be careful. You know what I'm saying? Be careful in that. You know what I'm saying? God's light. But I feel you. Good. Good thing that you are doing something that you see is good for you. You know what I'm saying? Just take that stuff. Yeah. Good. Good energies for Saturn retrograde. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Good luck on your journey. But so all that being said, right, the Neptune, so while this is the next like 3 days, right, same thing, while this is going on, the moon right now it's in Libra position through Scorpio and probably touch Sagittarius by the time we get into the second of Leo, which is going to be that Aries influence. So the transition into Scorpio, right, again, this is going to be squaring the sun. And this is where the moon has a somewhat of a difficult time, because the moon feels trapped almost. It wants to transform, or it needs to transform, but in order to do that, it has to let go of not wanting to be vulnerable. It has to let go of certain feelings and grudges that it might have. And depending on your deep desire, that might say, man, if I let go of this feeling, I'm not going to get there, or I'm not going, this energy got to one up on me, or I don't need to express this because this is too much, you know what I'm saying? But this is kind of the energy in which we might have to put it all out there. Whoever you are, what you doing, you got to put it all out there. It's kind of like, go crazy and stuff like that. But it means like you might have to let go of the fear that's holding you back from going as far with your character or and doing your thing, your purpose. You have to let go of the feelings that's still holding you back in that regard. And you might have to let go of things that make you feel comfortable in order. You can't see how far you can go until you let go of everything that's keeping you secluded, keeping you from standing on stage. You know what I'm saying? All those nerves and stuff. It's that time. That's the key right there. So think about that as we're going through the time of transformation and changing who we are, changing to be more authentic to us. Your reign itself is in Taurus. So we're changing the value of it. My character was one way. I'm changing the value of it. I got a whole new way to value myself, and I need to let that be known. I need to put that out. Now, and then it's gonna go that delusion phase. So because the moon in Scorpio can make you, it could put you in a position where, like I said before, if you over exaggerate and you got delusions of grandeur, the Scorpio energy gonna make you real negative and real, like, really maybe even go over the top, because you might be trying to hide something, you know what I'm saying? Or it'll come off like that, like you trying to put yourself out there in a way that's not true to you. So just be mindful of that. We'll get more deep into those energies when we hit them. Right now, I'm just kind of looking ahead of time and stuff like that. But then after that, we get into the moon in Sagittarius, where it's going to trine these energies, and it's going to create a grand fire trine. So that's when we really gonna start to see, you know, what's what, and be able to see ourselves. And that's kind of when you want to be in full express, basically. You want to kind of be fully in that bag, you know what I'm saying? But, and again, we'll talk about those energies specifically when we get there. But right now, it's just kind of the onset of that. You know, right now in Libra, a lot of conversation, but make sure it's pertaining to you and your growth. Don't be afraid to step into that, you know what I'm saying? And just, again, what we see in the world is in a very weird place, but just understand that you don't want to lose touch with, you know, where you're going with it. You know, everything going on, there's distractions. Don't lose touch of where you trying to go with it. You know, we got to make that decision. We got to stand on it. You know, that's the real Lionsgate. We got on it. We got to do what we set out to do. And yeah, so that's it for today. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for sliding through. Like I said, just a good game on a good Friday and shit like that, Venus Day. So make sure y'all take some time to, you know, do some self-care, get your mind right, have some good conversations with, and you know, make some time for your creativity. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Moki. You have a good day too. So, you know, make sure you got, you know, set out some time to do your thing. And, you know, yeah, boom, you good. You know what I'm saying? So, much love. I'll catch you on the next one. And don't forget, if you interested in being on season 2, we dropped the trailer to the new show coming out. It's a new show, you know, creation. So it's coming out in the fall, but, you know, it's season 1. But if you're interested, if you see the trailer, right, and you interested in being a part of what we got going on, go ahead and fill out the interest form. We might have a spot for you on the next one. So, you know, don't miss out on that. What else? You know, make sure y'all check out everybody. You know, they dropping new music, new merch and stuff like that. To Mooney Mercury, Baby, Say Nuno, Kales, you know what I'm saying? Everybody doing some new things. And I know I'll be missing people, man. So if I don't say your name, don't take it personal at all, please. But just y'all make sure y'all support everybody in the community. Yeah. Good shit, good vibes. Have a great day, and I will catch you on the next one. I've always feel like I'm forgetting something, but I'll catch you on the next one. We'll get to it. All right, peace.